Let's see if we get a nice turnout today. All right. Let's take, what's up? I'm officially live. What's going on, everybody? Got a few companies reporting earnings after the bell today. Regular session bell just rang, by the way, the closing bell. What's up, everybody? We got Seagate and Texas Instruments. Got Seagate on the left, Texas Instruments on the right. And let's just take a quick peek here. This was a spread trade I opened up today. I'll go over this spread trade at the end of the stream. I opened up today. It paying like 40% return on capital. How'd SPY close? Okay, SPY sold kind of sold off a little bit into the close here. That's great for my credit spreads I just opened this afternoon. Of course, if you want the trades in real time, you got to join the Discord. What's up on Rod? Looking like, I don't know if you were in that spread stream I just did about an hour ago on Rod, but our call credit spreads might be printing by tomorrow morning. We might not even have to hold it through the Fed meeting. That's great. So I'll go over that in a minute, or towards the end of the stream. I got an old line here. So let me go to, okay, Texas Instrument got lots of volatility here. I'm gonna go 5-minute chart on this thing. Look at this. They closed the regular session at $196.64. They were basically flat on the day. They came down here just now. They wicked down to 188.68. And then it came right back up, all the way up to over 200 to 204, basically. And now it's come right back down just above where it closed at. So got a bit of volatility going on here with Texas Instruments. It's looking bullish for now. It's up 2%. Let me take a look at a few things. This was the earnings calendar. Now, tomorrow is the big day, okay? Not only do we have the Fed meeting, but we got Microsoft reporting after the close tomorrow. We got Meta reporting after the close tomorrow. We got Tesla reporting after the close tomorrow. Depending on the earnings reactions to the stock price on these three, definitely market mover type deal going on tomorrow after the close. So just be on your P's and Q's. IBM also reporting tomorrow. Levi, Waste Management, Las Vegas Sand, United Rentals, they're a big company. Lending Club, but obviously these top three, that's the deal for tomorrow. So tomorrow should be a lot of fireworks, I would think. And then Thursday, Apple's reporting on Thursday, SanDisk, Visa. I'm interested in Visa's results because I was running diagonal calendar spreads on that. Made some good money on that. And you can kind of scroll through and look at all the other ones. But big earnings week, all right? So let me go back here and I want to look at, there's a lot of people on Earnings Whispers right now. Refresh my screen. Oh, look, Earnings Whispers website just went down. Too many people on it. Wow, that's crazy. All right, we don't need that. So let me go back to the sticks here. Look at Texas Instruments. Their data must be out, I'm thinking. So let me take a look at them. Wow, yeah, they're up at 206 a share now. They're up $10 a share. It's looking like Texas Instruments is getting a nice positive reaction for the earnings data. Got about 264 people tuning in now. Probably a lot of people on X. Good to see everyone. And yeah, Texas Instruments actually missed. They must have raised guidance or something because the data from a bird's eye view doesn't really look too good. I mean, I guess it came in line, but I'm thinking they increased guidance. So they're obviously catching a little bit of a bid now. I mean, it's a $200 stock. It's up over 5%. But you can see the expected EPS was $1.28. They reported $1.27. Barely missed. That's more in line, I think. And same thing with revenue. Expected number was 4.4 billion, 4.44 billion. They reported 4.42 billion. So just tiny misses on the top lines here. EPS is down. They do have 10% revenue growth year over year. That's a bright spot. Quarter over quarter in the red as far as growth goes, but good revenue growth year over year. Let me see what else, what other data I can find. I got STX on the left here, getting some volatility. I'm going to stick with Texas Instruments just for the time being. And let's see here, outlook. Yes, okay, they raised the guidance. That's what I thought. All right, so they raised Q1 2026 guidance. They raised EPS guidance, and they raised revenue guidance. So perfect example on it's all about the guidance, folks. It's all about guidance. Even though they missed EPS forecast for today's report and they missed revenue forecast for today's report, none of that is mattering. None of that is mattering because they increased Q1 guidance. So let me see if I can fit all this into one comment. Probably not. I'll probably break this up into two. Give me 1 second here. Open a notepad. And what I want to do is I want to post the revenue miss, and then I'll post the guidance. Okay. Let's see if I can get all this on one thing here. So positive reaction by Texas Instruments. It's looking like a grats to the Texas Instrument bulls. Let me get this in the comments for everybody. There we go. All right, so they did miss revenue. I'll put that on the bottom of my screen for now. I'll post this in the Discord as well for my Discord peeps. But the most important thing is the guidance. And we'll go over that here in a second. I'll do a secondary post. And actually, I'm going to post the this guidance because this is what's important, okay? So the guidance, the estimate for the guidance for EPS was $1.22. They increased it to $1.48, so solid increase on EPS guidance. And Texas Instruments revenue guidance, the estimate was $4.32 billion, and they raised it to $4.68 billion. So solid increase on the revenue guidance. And again, that's for Q1 guidance. So that's really all it takes for a stock to catch a bid. Investors are obviously forward looking, and anytime the guidance gets changed in a positive way and increased, this is what you get. All right, so pretty easy there. Let's see what other info I can put here. Profitability. So their positive net income of 1.16 billion. So that's good. Let's go to the income statement right here. And yeah, it looks like that's kind of in range with what they normally get quarter after quarter. Just above $1 billion in positive net income, and that's what they reported today. So very much a profitable company still. And yeah, they increased guidance. So nice positive reaction. The implied move on Texas Instruments is around 6%. So if it closed the regular session around 196 times 0.06, so the implied move is like $11 or $12 a share, and they're at like $9 a share green right now. So they're coming up right there to where the expected move is as far as what was getting priced in for today. So margins and near-term momentum are slipping a little bit, but again, they're posted some strong Q1 forward guidance, and investors are loving it. Let's find out when Texas Instruments is going to do their call. I'll get that information for everybody, and we'll find out how to get there and all that good stuff. So let me just pull this up here on my other screen. I'm just going to go to their investor relations page, and then we'll go over to Seagate and see what's up with them. But let's finish up with Texas Instruments, and then I should have enough time to go over this spread trade I opened up today, which I'm I'm pretty excited about. So Texas Instruments right here. And let me actually post this link for everybody in the comments. If anyone wants to go to their investor relations page and take a deeper dive into their earnings, that's the link for you right there. I'll post this in the Discord as well. Let me go back to the sticks and keep the price action of Texas Instruments on the right. And I might even draw a little fib on this thing. Let me go 1 minute chart because that's really the only candles we can look at right now until more gets printed. But I'm not going to count this bottom wick because that wasn't the real move. So I'm just going to go from the bottom of this green candle here. And fib levels lining up pretty well. 25% retrace is right around 205 a share. So that's going to be my support level number 1 and post-market price action. If it can hold right around 205, I think it's just, it's probably going to come up and make a new after hours high, which looks like it's trying to do right now. So 205 for S1. This is just post-market price action. These aren't bigger time frame levels or anything. 205 S1, and then probably 200 for the next level down. Nice $5 increment there. So 205 and 200. That's what I'd be watching for the bulls to see if we get continuation on Texas Instruments. And we were looking at some of their financials going into the earnings. Nice and positive PE ratio, trailing 12 months, 35. They do pay almost a 3% dividend as well. So nice cherry on top there. EPS nice and positive, 5.4. Free float of 906 million. And we were looking at the income statement a little bit ago, and they are definitely a profitable company. Positive net income over $1 billion quarter after quarter for the past 5 quarters. Debt to asset only 52%. That's fair. That's good. They got 5.19 billion in cash and equivalents as of September 30th. So very healthy company, Texas Instruments, and I'm assuming they pay a quarterly dividend. Let me see here. Last dividend, the last ex-div date was Halloween, October 31st, and then July 31st. So yeah, it's a quarterly dividend. Price has been a little volatile in the past year. You can see here. Came all the way down to 136 at one point in time. This was the market correction, the 20% market correction. That probably wasn't even Texas Instruments' fault. And then coming out of April, it trended up, as did most stocks that are worth a damn. All trended up from April to basically July. And been quite volatile since then because it was at 218 in July, came down to the 150s, and now it's back over 200 if you're counting today's price action in the post market. So let me go back to TradingView, and yeah, looks like it just made a new after hours high. So we got continuation on Texas Instrument. TXN bulls are probably pretty happy. You should be up quite nice tomorrow. And if anyone did like an earnings lotto trade or anything like that, if you got your call strike even somewhat close to the money, you should have a nice payday tomorrow as well. Of course, the closer you are to the money, or even in the money, you're going to get the benefit of the much higher delta, and the theta doesn't really hurt you as bad when you're in the money as well. So TXN, congrats to the bulls on that one. You'd think if it was going to come down, it'd probably come back down by now. But let's see if I can find their press release. Let's see here, investor news. Okay, here it is here. So here's the press release. You just click on that and see if there's any commentary from the higher ups. Revenue decreased 7% sequentially and increased 10% from the same quarter a year ago. They say our cash flow from operations of $7.2 billion from the trailing 12 months again underscored the strength of our business model, the quality of our product portfolio, and the benefit of 300 mm production. Free cash flow for the same period was $2.9 billion. That's good free cash flow. And so these are just some of the highlights. And they say over the past 12 months, we invested $3.9 billion in research and development, and invested $4.6 billion in capital expenditures, and returned $6.5 billion to owners. Very nice. If you want to take a deeper dive into some of their line items here, I'll post the link on my screen, bottom of my screen. There it is right there. You can look at cost of revenue, gross profit, operating profit, interest and debt expense, income before taxes, all that fun stuff, net income. So I'm just looking for some other things here as far as when they're going to do their call. They got a lot of spreadsheets on this press release here. And I want to look at, okay, this is forward-looking statements. We already went over their guidance, the increased Q1 guidance, EPS and revenue. And I'm not showing where the web call is going to be. So let me go back to a different menu. They're probably going to be under events right here. Oh, I don't like how their website's set up where it automatically drops it down. Okay, so let's upcoming and recent webcast. Okay, here it is here. So 3:30 p.m. Central Time. So their web call is actually in 15 minutes. At 4:30 p.m. Eastern is when they're going to do their web call. And if you go to that link, here, let me just post the link that'll get you to the web call. This will, so you don't have to go through the homepage or anything like that. Almost 400 people tuning in. Swinging Bull here with PB Alerts. Good to see y'all. Okay, let me post this link instead. All right, that's the link. It'll take you right to their webcast page. And then right there, when you get there, you'll see the hyperlink right here, webcast. Just click on that. They might have you fill out a little form. They're just tracking attendance for the web call. You'll be all right. And again, that starts in 15 minutes. So we got the earnings data from TXN. Again, they missed EPS and revenue, but just simply increasing the guidance and increasing the outlook in a positive way, that's all it takes for a stock to get a bid, and that's what we're seeing here with TXN. So good stuff. And got my levels. I'm actually move this fib up a little bit. Right there. I'll probably keep it right here. I like how it bounced off that 25% right there. All right, so let's go over to Seagate. Let's see what's up with them. Seagate. They were a bit volatile. This is $370 stock. Closed the regular session at 371.76. It was up 3.7% today on the regular session. Now they're down 2%. So, in the bigger picture, they're just kind of erasing some of the gains from today. They had a pretty solid pre-market. Did come back down a little bit before the opening bell. Then they rallied pretty good after the opening bell. And then they kind of sold off into closings. Someone knew something there, right? Anyways, they're down 2.2 or 2.3% right now, trading in the low 360s. We've got some bigger time frame levels on this just to kind of see where some support might be. Put this volume profile on here and just kind of zoom out a little bit. Actually, I'll probably just take price action from here to there. There actually wasn't a lot of volume. You can see a lot of the volume. This is price action from like the end of September. So October, November, December, January. So it's like 4 months of price action. You can see where most of the volume came in, right in the 280s, and then like the 250s, and then the 230s. So bigger time frame levels. That would be a pretty good deal on the stock down there. I mean, it's still trading in the 360s. You zoom in a little bit more, and I'll probably just use my EMAs on this one. So S1 is probably going to be. Actually, let me put the Bollinger Bands on this. I'm going to do that. See how overextended they might be. Okay, I already got the BBs on this Webull chart. So go daily chart, and yeah, they just pierced through the top of the BBs today. So it's probably asking for a pullback down here, which would be quite the pullback, to be honest with you. Middle of the Bollinger Bands around 317, but you can see all this volume coming in. Probably around 350 would be S1. I mean, it's almost a $400 stock, so it's not really a big move if you think about it. So 350 is going to be my S1, right where this volume profile starts popping off, right here on the 350. But we'll see. Let me go back to intraday and take a look. I'm going to put, let me get rid of these BBs for now. And then we're gonna, I want to draw a fib on this actually. So let me go 1 minute chart here on TradingView. I'm not going to count this upper wick because that's not the move. I guess it's kind of retraced a little bit, but it's still downtrending. I'm just going to put the top of this right basically right here where it starts selling. So support level number 1 for post-market price action. Right here where the bottom of this wick is, it lines up right with the fib level. It's right around 360 a share. S1, and then S2 is after hours low, 355. So support level number 1, 360. Support level number 2, 355. That's where we want to see bounces for the bulls. It looks like it just made an attempt to make a higher low here, so maybe it's on to something. Maybe it's going to start retracing back up. We'll see. But overall, it does have a negative reaction. It is down 2% in after hours, about $7.50 per share for STX. And for those that don't know, STX is in computers, phones, and household electronics. So they provide mass data storage infrastructure solutions. And the company's principal products are hard disk drives. Good to know. Commonly referred to as disk drives, okay? The company produces a range of data storage products, including solid-state drives, solid-state hybrid drives, storage subsystems, as well as scalable edge-to-cloud mass data platform. So just a little background about the company. And going into the earnings, they had a trailing 12-month PE of 47, EPS 7.8. They pay a tiny dividend of 0.8%. 212 million free float. Income statement. Yeah, I kind of assumed that they're a nice and profitable company trading up here in the 300 to 400 range. But their net income has been increasing quarter over quarter. But they're not really getting a positive reaction for this earnings announcement. Debt to asset at 100%. I know it's trending down, but 100% debt to asset, that's right on the verge of being over leveraged as a company. I don't really like that too much. I prefer it to be much less than 100%, but nonetheless, they got 1.11 billion in cash and equivalents as of October 3rd. And yeah, so fundamentals aren't bad at all, except for that debt to assets a little high. But let's see what we got for STX. Okay, here we go. So STX, from a bird's eye view, their earnings look good. I wonder if it's probably the inverse of what Texas Instruments did. Texas Instruments, again, they missed EPS, they missed revenue, but they increased Q1 guidance. That's why I caught a bit of a bid here, up $11 a share. STX kind of did the opposite. Got a nice little graph here from the earnings correspondent, but they actually beat EPS and revenue. The forecast EPS was 2.84. They reported 3.11, so they beat that by 10% roughly. Revenue expectation was 2 million. So they double beat and they're down. What's that tell you? They probably negatively adjusted the guidance. So kind of complete opposite of Texas Instruments here. So that's what I'm thinking is they probably lowered the guidance. I'll find out more and let everyone know. Let me scroll back up to the top here. Okay, I know what happened. Let me go back up. Trend Spider says everything's bigger in Texas. Talking about Texas Instruments. All right, let me go back and see what else I can find. I'm looking for red flags because it's obviously selling off. Let me put yeah, let me just go over this real quick. So here's some commentary from Dave Mosley on Seagate Technology. He's the CEO and the chair. And Dave says, Seagate's December quarterly results exceeded our expectations on both the top and bottom line. We just went over that. Setting new records for gross margin and operating margin. I kind of feel like he's only going to talk about positive things, but there's an underlying red flag here. There's some selling going on. I'll see if I can find it. But he says this performance highlights our team's strong operational execution, the durability of data center demand, and the ongoing ramp of our HAMR based Mosaic products. And looks like we got some more commentary just to wrap it up from Dave Mosley, the CEO. He says, as AI applications amplify the creation and economic value of data, modern data centers increasingly need storage solutions that combine performance and cost efficiency at exabyte scale. Our areal density-driven product roadmap positions us to meet the evolving storage requirements and exabyte demand growth, while creating significant value for our customers and shareholders for years to come. All right, so they're not really talking about anything negative. So I want to know what happened. So we do got guidance here. Let's see. Management cited strong data center demand, record margins, and continued ramp of hammer-based Mosaic products as key drivers. Yeah, I'm not really seeing too much negative stuff going on here. The revenue, it looks like it might have been changed by 0.10 billion, possibly negatively. EPS possibly changed by 0.20. Let's see if I can get some more data here. Estimate $3. Cease revenue, second quarter results. Okay. Free cash flow, 607 million. Analyst ratings, 21 buys, 5 holds. Let's see here. Q3 EPS, revenue. I mean, I'm not seeing much negative stuff. So maybe this little pullback is going to be short-lived. It's down a little over 2% in after hours, almost $8 a share. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of green with Seagate. So this might be I don't know what's going on with this negative price action, but it's probably going to be short-lived. Here's another graphic here. And you can see lots of green across the board on this. Revenue up 21% year over year. Gross profit up 44% year over year. Operating income 67% in the green. EPS is up. Lots of green stuff here. So we'll see what the remainder of post-market price action does. Here, I got a printout from Bloomberg right here, actually. Still looking for some negative stuff here. Free cash flow is up a ton. Year over year, they only had 150 million in free cash flow 1 year ago, and now they have 607 million, so that's good. Operating margin at 31% versus 23% year over year. Gross margin is also up year over year. Revenue's up year over year. I mean, the data looks good, so I'm not sure why they're selling off here. Maybe big money's rotating or something, but overall, it looks good. Let's see when they're going to do their web call, and maybe it finally makes a bullish move when they do their web call. Maybe that's a possibility. But let me go here to STX, Investor Relations. Over 400 people tuning in now. Snellcat says, as an intern in your first tech job, I'd have to deconstruct hard drives for days at a time. The Seagate ones were always built with much lower quality than any of the other brands. Okay, good to know. I didn't know that. That's from our friend Snellcat over here in the Discord. And we got one of one sticks in the house. Ariel, good to see you, Ariel. Floki's in the house. Hill Bill, Nikki's here. Good to see y'all hanging out. And yeah, so let me see when they're going to do their web call. Seagate Investor Relations. Let's take a quick look. And it looks like I'll have time to go over that spread trade I opened this afternoon, which was a fun one to do. So I'll keep Seagate on the left here, the price action. And here is their press release. Well, this is for the conference call. Let me click on this. I'll post this for anyone in the chats that might want to join their conference call. Looks like their conference call is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern. It says right here, 2 p.m. Pacific time. So that'd be 5 p.m. Eastern. And I'll post the link there on the bottom of my screen. I'll put it in the Discord as well. And for anyone in the Discord that wants to take a deeper dive into Seagate's earnings and, of course, attend the web call. Let me look at this investor menu real quick. And let's see if they got their news article. Yep, here it is here. So here's the press release. So that link on the bottom of my screen, that'll take you to this press release I'm looking at right now. You can see the revenue, the gross margin numbers, EPS, cash flow from operations. And they did declare the cash dividend of 74 cents per share. And yep, looks like we do got some commentary. I think I already went over this, though. This is the comments from the CEO, Dave Mosley. Yeah, we already went over this. Already read all that. And they generated $723 million in cash flow from operations, $607 million in free cash flow. And again, that's compared to $150 million in free cash flow from a year ago. So that great job on the free cash flow by them. And they declared the quarterly cash dividend, 74 cents a share. So a lot of this we already kind of went over. So anyways, they're going to do their web call at 5 p.m. Eastern. So in 30 more minutes, they're going to do their call. So yeah, so it looks like we got the reactions for both companies. Again, Seagate's earnings didn't look bad. However, they are down a little bit. It looks like there is some buying finally coming in now. So like I said, the little selling that was going on just now, probably short-lived just from what I saw. Texas Instruments ended up hitting 209.79 after closing the regular session at 196.63. So congrats to the Texas Instrument Bulls. Like I said, if you had call options even somewhat close to the money going into this earnings, maybe it was a lotto trade for you or something, you should have a nice payday tomorrow. You should be in the money with those call options. And another thing, say you had an existing position on Texas Instruments that was already nice and green, and you were wondering, how can I protect that position going into the earnings? One thing you could have done is probably just put a collar trade on it. So assuming you had at least 100 shares of the company, and how you would construct that trade. If you just wanted to be protected through the earnings announcement, you could probably just use Friday's expiration on the collar trade. And then what you do is, assuming, you know, if you're nice and green on the position and you want to protect your gains, that's what I'm going over right now. So you would sell to open this 197.50 call and collect almost 700, collect about $700, looks like where the mid price is. That would be a credit. And then what you could do is turn around and take that credit and buy this naked put option, the 195 strike, which the credit from the covered call would cover the debit needed for the naked put. And then your downside would be capped at 195. So any downside below 195, you would not participate in. That's just a way to protect any gains you might have had on the table going into the earnings. So it's more for conservative traders that aren't really looking to make money on a bullish reaction. What they're looking for is, how do they not lose money, right? And that's the thing. You experienced traders out there know, once you can get good at not losing money, the winners will naturally come. Take a sip of water real quick. That's what, all of us traders that have been trading for a long time, that's what we realize. Get really good on how to not lose money, and the winners will naturally come. You'll be just fine. Okay. So anyways, that's just an example of how to protect yourself using a collar trade. Seagate, there is some buying coming in on Seagate finally. But now that we got the reactions on both these companies and we know what the deal is, let me go over the spread trade I opened up this afternoon. We'll just go over this real quick. Okay, so this is a spread trade on SPY. I did do a neutral to bearish trade on SPY. I know that's against the grain. It's not something I normally do, but I do think the 700 level on SPY, I think there's resistance there. I really do. How long it acts as resistance, I don't know, but that's okay. It's a nice mental level, number one. Number two, this bear call spread is only a 3-day to expiration. So I'm not married to the trade, just taking it out on a date to dinner and we're done. Okay. And I sold to open the $700 call, and I bought to open the 701 call for Friday's expiration. And yes, for the people that don't know much about spreads, even though we're trading calls, this is not a bullish trade because technically we're short the calls. We're receiving overall credit when we open the trade. So we're actually getting paid to put this trade on, right? And we're actually a little green on this already. I traded this on my Schwab account and did a handful of them, but I collected $40 a spread when I opened this up this afternoon. It's only a $1 wide spread. So you only need $100 in buying power for each one. And of course, if you're collecting $40, I mean, I don't even need the calculator for this, but if you're collecting $40 on the spread, you put up $100 in buying power, that's a potential 40% return on capital in only 3 days. And we basically just want SPY to stay below 700.40. That would be my break even on Friday at expiration. As long as SPY stays below 700.40 by Friday, this will be a profitable trade. Tomorrow, we got the Fed meeting in the afternoon. Look what SPY did going into the close today. It kind of sold off a little bit going into the close. A little bit of buying coming back in after hours, but just kind of hanging out around 695 and some change here. So we do got a 5-point cushion basically up to where our spread is above 700. So I'm going to see what the price action does tomorrow. Maybe S&P sells off a little bit going into the Fed meeting. And if I have a decent percentage of my max gain on the table before that Fed meeting or the press conference, really, I will go ahead and close this out and take profit, and I won't even trade it through the Fed meeting. If the Fed meeting, the press conference, interest rate decision in the press conference ends up being a nothing burger, where the markets don't rally, then I'll see what the price of SPY is going into the close, and if I'm profitable, I'll probably go ahead and close it out because look at who's reporting earnings tomorrow: Microsoft, Meta, Tesla. If any of those three take a hit tomorrow, SPY is going to go down with it, which is going to be good for us. But if any one of these three have a positive reaction, SPY's probably going to rally a little bit, and that's where we probably, that's why I'm thinking if I'm already profitable on this trade, if the press conference at 2:30 and the interest rate data at 2, if that ends up not really being anything, because also for anyone that was curious on the probability on whether they're going to reduce rates or not, you just go to this Fed Watch tool right here, and this will help tell you what the probabilities are. Okay, and I'll put this link in the comments if no one really knew how to look at this. You can bookmark it. I like pulling it up every now and then and just look what the probabilities are for the interest rate decisions. But it's 97.2% chances they're going to hold it steady. So we kind of already know what the data is going to be. The catch tomorrow is going to be the press conference and whether they give any indication about future rate cuts, or if there was some probabilities that we are going to have future some more rate cuts this year, if they backtrack on those and say, oh no, we're probably not going to do it, and they start giving more clarity on future rate cuts. That's what the market mover is going to be. It's not the market mover tomorrow isn't whether they're cutting rates or not tomorrow. We know it's a pretty good chance it's going to stay the same. That's already been priced in. It's going to stay the same. If there's some sort of surprise that they cut the rate tomorrow, I think that's obviously going to be bullish, an unexpected surprise rate cut when, the probabilities were them keeping them the same. I could maybe, I think that's going to happen? Probably not. I think they're just going to leave them the same. They're going to leave the rate unchanged. And the meat and potatoes is the commentary on future rate cuts. Are they going to do them? Are they not going to do them? Are they going to take some off the table that were already on the table this year? It's the commentary surrounding that data. That's what the market move is going to be tomorrow with this interest rate data coming out at 2 p.m. in the press conference at 2:30. Then after we get through that, then we got to deal with the earnings after market close, Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla. Like I said, this spread trade, if I am profitable tomorrow, I'm probably going to go ahead and take the profit. Okay. So this was the trade I entered. And also this is kind of acting as somewhat of a hedge in itself, because I am currently long on 4 other stocks and actually 5 stocks. And I've been trading SoFi lately. I do already have a downside hedge on SoFi. I got some puts dated for March on those. I've basically been using those puts as collateral and selling weekly cash secured puts against them it basically reduces my buying power needed on the weekly income trades by 90% most times, compared to the buying power you would need by selling a cash secured put by itself. That's why I kind of did that. Nonetheless, I'm in between weekly income trades on SoFi, and I still have my longer dated puts in place that I've been using as collateral. So I'm just going to leave those in place. And SoFi has earnings on Friday. So if SoFi gets a negative reaction to earnings, I've already got puts in place that I bought like a month ago. So I'll be in great position to capitalize if SoFi has a negative reaction. But other than that, I'm long on a handful of other stocks, and I didn't really have anything in place for downside going into tomorrow. So that's another reason why I opened up this trade. It's not necessarily because I'm bearish. Of course, with credit spreads, you can be neutral. That's the beauty of credit spreads. You don't need to be biased, directionally biased for credit spreads. Those are neutral to bearish. Neutral. If it's a call credit spread, you're neutral to bearish. If it's a put credit spread, you're neutral to bullish. So you actually have 2 ways a trade can work out with credit spreads. They can trade flat and you can still win. Or of course, if you get a move in your direction, you can take profit a lot earlier than holding them to expiration. Compared to debit spreads, with debit spreads, of course, out of the money debit spreads, you do need a directional move for those to work out. But in exchange for needing a directional move on out of the money debit spread, the returns are a lot better. You can also get triple-digit returns on debit spreads. Compared to out of the money credit spreads, you're not going to be getting a triple-digit return on those. It's usually kind of flipped the other way. Your risk reward is not, sometimes with credit spreads, you're risking $2 to make $1. But in exchange for that lopsided risk reward, your win rate should be super high with the out of the money credit spread. So it's a little give and take, but that's what I like trading over here in the Discord. That's all I trade, and I run a ton of the wheel strategy. So if you've ever been interested in getting involved on more of the contract writing side, where we're getting paid on the onset of the transaction, because the opening transaction, some people don't know. You can be a seller on the opening transaction. So a lot of people think, a sell order is just when you're closing something out. No, that's absolutely not true. You can absolutely be a seller on the opening transaction. And that's the way I prefer to trade. That's the way I've been trading for years. And it's by far the most consistent strategy I've traded. And that's my bread and butter. So if you ever been interested in how to trade spreads, that's what I teach in the Discord. So look in the description. There's some links in there. You can join the Discord if you're interested in learning all about that. And of course, to wrap up the stream, if you are looking for 4 high probability trade setups sent to your inbox every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, check that very first link in the description. It doesn't cost anything. It's 100% free. And we've been getting a lot of great feedback on those trade setups in the morning. But yeah, other than that, I had a lot of fun. This is the first earnings stream of the week. So of course, I'm doing another one tomorrow. And like I said, tomorrow, that's where the fireworks are going to be. Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla all reporting after the closing bell. I will have my popcorn ready because there's probably going to be some fireworks there. And then, of course, on Thursday, Apple's reporting along with Visa. I've made some good money on Visa, but Apple's reporting, so that's going to be another one. So, you know, tomorrow and Thursday, it's going to be back to back, you know, action. Not only with the interest rate data dropping at 2 and followed up by the press conference at 2:30 Eastern tomorrow. Then we got the heavy hitters reporting after close tomorrow, Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla. And then, of course, Thursday, we got Apple. So it's good, you know, after today, you know, it's going to be action packed for the remainder of the week. So not financial advice, but everyone just be on your P's and Q's, trade your portfolio accordingly. If you're long on a bunch of positions, if it was me, I'd probably be thinking about putting some sort of hedge in place, you know, going into tomorrow, you know, tomorrow afternoon. Better safe than sorry. Look at it as buying insurance. That's how I look at it. I just buying some insurance to where if there is a market downturn, we can at least participate on some of the downside instead of sitting on the sideline doing nothing. And look, if you don't need to utilize the hedge, like the hedge ends up not being a winning trade, that's a good thing. That means all your long positions should be doing very well. So I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of my potential future profit and buy a little bit of an insurance so I can participate in the downside if there's downside. And that'll help counteract any drawdown you see on your long positions. So anyways, hope everyone enjoyed. Again, my name's The Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I hope everyone has a fantastic night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers.